by Habib Omar bin Hafid.
Quite a rich source.
Exactly. And our mission for this deep dive is to explore Islamic thought on two themes that seem different but are actually deeply linked.
Right. The sanctity of life on one hand.
And on the other, this intricate path of spiritual purification known as Sufism. Often misunderstood, I think.
Definitely. So we're aiming to pull out the core wisdom, maybe some surprising angles and, practical takeaways.
Yeah, get ready to maybe rethink some fundamental ideas about faith, how we act, and our inner lives.
Okay.
Which leads us perfectly into Sufism. Yeah. This path focused on deep inner purification. And the source gives a very specific definition of what a true Sufi is.
Yeah, the core definition it provides is one who has traveled, salaka, and arrived.
Traveled and arrived.
Okay, it means they've really rigorously followed the divine law, the Sharia, and ethical conduct, tasawwuf, being completely sincere with God in everything until they reach this state called arrival at God. It's both an outward discipline and an inward journey.
But what does arrival at God actually mean? It sounds quite abstract.
Well, the source breaks it down into 3 stages of Yaqin. That's certainty or conviction in Arabic.
Okay, 3 stages.
First is ilm al-Yaqin. Knowledge of certainty. This is like intellectual conviction, knowing something based on firm belief.
Got it. Like knowing fire is hot because you've been told reliably.
Kind of, yeah. Then comes Aina Yaqin, the eye of certainty. This is experiencing it almost as if you're seeing it directly. The unseen becomes witnessed.
Ah, so seeing the fire, perhaps.
Closer, yeah. The source mentions figures like Abu Bakr and Ali ibn Abi Talib. Ali famously said, "If the veil were lifted, my certainty would not increase." He felt he already saw with that inner eye.
Wow. Okay, so what's the 3rd stage?
Haq al-Yaqin, the truth of certainty. This is actually experiencing, or as the source puts it, tasting that reality. Like tasting paradise or hellfire.
So not just seeing the fire, but feeling its heat directly.
Exactly. Prophets and angels are said to have firm footing here. And some very select saints and truthful individuals can also reach this level.
So it's a progression, knowledge, seeing, then actually tasting or living it.
This idea of progressing certainty is really central to the Sufi path. And the word Sufi itself, the source, suggests a few origins, like from Safa, meaning purity, or Sufiya, which implies someone who has purified themselves for God, and God in turn has purified them. It's this kind of reciprocal purification.
A divine polishing, almost.
You could say that, and it's not some later invention either.
Right, the source makes that clear.
Yeah, it notes the term Sufi was known way back in the 2nd Hijri century. It quotes Imam Shafi, a huge figure in Islamic law, who said he spent time with the Sufis and benefited immensely. He learned 2 key principles from them.
Oh, what were they?
First, yourself, if you do not occupy it with good, it will occupy you with evil.
Simple but profound. Keep busy with good or trouble finds you.
Pretty much. And the second, time is like a sword. If you do not cut it, it will cut you.
Manage your time or it consumes you.
Exactly. These 2 points from Imam Shafi really summarize a deep, practical life philosophy that came from his interaction with early Sufis. Discipline the self, master time.
So, okay, if a Sufi is someone who has arrived at that highest level of certainty, what about everyone else who's drawn to this path?
That's a great question. The source makes a really interesting distinction here between the true Sufi and 2 kinds of imitators.
Imitators, okay.
Well, first there's the mutashabi. This is someone who is sincerely following the path. They're progressing towards God. They believe in it. They have love for it.
So they're on the journey.
Right. They're walking the walk. If they complete that journey, the source says they might be called a mutasawwif. They haven't fully arrived yet, but the effort and sincerity are real.
Okay, that makes sense. What's the second type?
That's the mutashabi al-mutashabi. Literally the imitator of the imitator.
Huh. What does that mean?
This is someone who hasn't actually started the journey themselves. They haven't undertaken the practices or the striving, but they love the Sufis, they believe in the path, and they hold them in high regard. They glorify them.
So it's more about love and admiration from a distance.
You could put it that way. And this brings up a really important point. What's the actual value of just that love or admiration if you're not doing the work yourself?
Yeah, does it count for anything?
Well, the source emphasizes a famous prophetic saying, "A person is with whom they love."
I've heard that.
It explains that if that love genuinely settles in your heart and you're sincere in it, it actually does connect you to the beloved. in all aspects of your life, even if you're not at their spiritual station.
So love itself creates a powerful bond.
A very powerful one. And this leads to maybe the core idea about love in this context.
Yes.
That the primary beloved for everyone, for all creation, should be God, loved for his own sake, for his essence.
Not for what you can get from him, but just for him.
Exactly. Any other love for people, for things, is only considered true or beneficial if it's for God's sake. Love driven by personal whims, desires separate from God, that's seen as harmful, leading you away from truth.
That's a high bar for love.
It is. And the source tells this amazing story to illustrate the sheer power of divine love.
Oh, yeah.
A follower asks a prophet to pray for him to receive just a speck of God's love.
Just a tiny bit.
Yeah. The prayer is granted. But even that minuscule amount is so overwhelming, so intense, that the follower begs for it to be lightened. He can't bear it.
Wow.
And then the prophet is told that before this, 12,000 Israelites had also asked for just a speck of God's love. And when that single speck was distributed among all 12,000 of them, even that tiny fraction given to each one was still immense and almost unbearable.
Goodness. That really drives home the idea of divine love being this incredibly potent, all-consuming force.
Utterly transformative. Far beyond our usual understanding of love.
Okay, so given this path involves such intense love, potentially overwhelming experiences, and striving for this arrival, what actually makes someone start on such a demanding journey?
The source describes it as an internal fire. The fire of will or desire, nar alirada, igniting in the heart.
A fire within.
Yeah, a powerful, almost divine urge pulling them towards God. It's not seen as something you just decide to do casually. It's more like an inner calling, an invitation to join the ranks of the chosen ones.
And when this fire ignites, what happens?
It leads to this radical rejection of worldly attachments, things we normally desire.
Like what?
Well, the common ones. Marriage, specific kinds of food or drink, clothes, fancy homes, even means of transport. Basically simplifying life drastically.
Letting go of comforts and connections.
But interestingly, the source points out the hardest thing for the self to let go of.
What's that? Not wealth.
No, it's jaw. Worldly status, esteem from other people.
Ah, reputation. What others think of you.
Exactly. The source suggests people might give up money or physical comforts, but abandoning that deep-seated desire for human admiration. That's the real battleground for the self, perhaps because it's so tied to our ego or sense of identity.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. So this intense inner fire, this rejection of status, how did it play out in their daily lives?
Well, the source describes some pretty extreme practices, like abandoning sleep, avoiding excessive talk. Because this other fire, the fire of passion or narogaram, is burning inside them, this longing for God. And the only thing that can extinguish it, they feel, is meeting God.
So they're consumed by this quest.
Completely. And this drive led many people, across centuries, across different lands, to adopt lives of extraordinary asceticism.
Like what sort of things?
Wandering in deserts, wildernesses, seeking total solitude with God, or living in abandoned ruins, but with, as the source says, full hearts.
Living amongst ruins.
Or even, and this is quite striking, choosing to live among the dead in graveyards.
In graveyards? Why on earth would they do that?
It seems quite stark, doesn't it? But the source gives these anecdotes that offer a glimpse into their mindset.
Okay, let's hear them.
Someone asks one of these graveyard dwellers why they live there. And the reply is, I associate with people who don't harm me if I'm present and don't backbite me if I'm absent.
A commentary on the living, perhaps. What else?
There's another story. Someone encounters a person coming from a graveyard and asks the inhabitants, when do you depart? And the answer from the graveyard dweller is, when you arrive.
Cryptic. Maybe about the fleeting nature of life versus eternity.
Possibly. And one more, someone asks if they feel lonely, in the darkness of the graveyard at night.
I would.
Right. But the reply is amazing. I remember the darkness of the grave and its loneliness, and it makes the darkness of night seem trivial. The terrors of the afterlife distract me from the terrors of the grave.
Wow. That just shows a complete shift in perspective, doesn't it? Earthly fears just pale in comparison to their focus on the ultimate reality.
Exactly. It illustrates this total reorientation. The pursuit of God, of divine closeness, just overshadows everything else, worldly concerns, fears, even primal fears like darkness or death. It's all about the power of that inner fire.
What an incredible journey we've taken in this deep dive today. Really covered a lot of ground.
We certainly have.
We looked at the profound sanctity of life, the really serious view on unjustly taking it, and then pivoted to this intricate, demanding, but ultimately love-driven path of Sufism.
Exploring the power of that divine love, the stages of certainty from knowing to tasting.
And that radical detachment from worldly things, especially status, that marks these spiritual seekers.
And I think what this deep dive really highlights is that true knowledge isn't just piling up facts.
No, it's about understanding what it all means.
Right. The implications for how we live, both inside ourselves and how we interact with the world. It points towards humility, especially in judging others, and the immense power of sincere intention and love.
Makes you reconsider things, yeah. Responsibility, purpose.
Definitely.
So, thinking about everything we've discussed, what really stands out to you, our listener, maybe consider this. If the ultimate purpose of creation, as the source hints with, I love to be known, so I created, if it's rooted in love, what does that suggest about the kind of love that should ideally be driving your actions? And maybe how could a deeper grasp of certainty or the sheer sanctity of life we talked about at the start influence your own daily decisions? Even the small ones.
Yeah. How does it change how you see the world and your place in it?
Something to really ponder, perhaps, until our next deep dive.
Thank you for watching. Explore our bookstore on Amazon.